First, a story making headlines around the world, the phone hacking scandal rocking News Corporation, the company led by Rupert Murdoch. It's a world that I know very well. I was editor of two major British tabloid newspapers for 11 years. I worked for News Corp. I was editor of the News of the World 16 years ago, from 1994 to 95. I was also editor of the Daily Mirror, a paper not owned by Rupert Murdoch, from 1995 to 2004. For the record, I do not believe that any story we published in either title was ever gained in an unlawful manner, nor have I ever seen anything to suggest that. But the experience running those papers does give me a pretty good insight into how Rupert Murdoch operates, both when you work for and against him. I mean, I can say from my experience editing a newspaper for him, and this was, 5, 6 years before any of this phone hacking began, but certainly when I worked for him, he wanted his editors to be tough, to be ruthless, to be aggressive, all the things you'd expect from a tabloid newspaper, but always to operate within the law. And I find it impossible, personally, knowing the man, to believe that he would have known about law breaking on his newspapers, let alone that he would condone it. As I said earlier during the panel, that having been one of his editors, I know that whenever we tripped up over what are, by these standards, relatively minor indiscretions in terms of breaching the Press Complaints Commission code or whatever, he was always incredibly quick to be publicly censorious of me or whoever the editor was that was offending, and remind us forcefully, personally, you've got to abide by the rules of the game, whether that's the Press Complaints Commission, which is a regulatory body in Britain, or by the law. So I cannot accept, although there's this huge witch hunt going on to bring him down personally, I don't accept that he himself would be party to illegal activity. People always assumed, if you've edited a paper for Murdoch, that he constantly interfered before stories were published and so on. That just did not happen. I mean, I wrote a book of diaries detailing my time there, and he just didn't do that. That wasn't his thing. What he would do is discuss them after you've published them, but he assumed that his line managers, his editors, his managers and so on would have done all the necessary checking to make sure that these stories were publishable according to the law of the land. And that's why I think this will hit him so hard.